Hey guys, Luke here on Sean's channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a combo guide. This is for my Fire King Snake-Eyes build. Now I'll be honest with you, it's kind of hard to do a proper combo guide for this, so I thought the best way to do it is just go through three little combos here. We're going to go through the basic Fire King combo, then we're going to go through the basic Snake-Eyes combo, and then I'm going to show you how you kind of bridge between both of these decks right here. So this is going to be a short enough video probably. We're just going to go through three combos and hopefully give you a better understanding of how this deck works. I think that Fire King Snake-Eyes have a very good synergy. I think this is probably the best way to play this deck. So without further ado, let's just get into some combos. I'm going to try to keep these to one card combos. So the Fire King combo is going to be one card combo, the Snake-Eyes combo is going to be one card combo, and then showing the bridge is going to need a 1.5 card combo, but we'll get into that in a bit. So let's just start off with the Fire King combo. This is as basic as they come. In fact, there's nothing fancy about this one. You can use this using just one copy of the structure deck. All we gotta do is start with Legendary Fire King Ponix. You're going to normal summon Ponix, you're going to trigger his effect. His effect allows you to add a Fire King spell from your deck to your hand. So we're going to add a copy of Fire King Sanctuary. What we're going to do then is we're going to activate Sanctuary, and Sanctuary effect is going to let us activate Fire King Island directly from our deck. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to activate Fire King Island directly there. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to activate Fire King Island. We're going to use the effect that during the main phase, you can destroy one monster in your hand or on the field, and if you do, add one Fire King monster from your deck to your hand. So of course, this being a one card combo, the only monster we have is Ponix, so we are going to destroy him in order to add a Fire King monster. Now the monster you're going to add is going to be Sacred Fire King Garunix, who is a very good card because what this basically allows you to do is, since he is added to our hand now and a fire monster is destroyed by a card effect, we're able to special summon him out. He doesn't necessarily need to be in our hand already for us to get that effect. So Garunix is going to hit the field, and then when Garunix is special summoned onto the field, he gets to activate his effect, where you're able to destroy one Fire Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster in your hand, deck, or face on the field, and then Garunix is going to gain attack equal to half of that monster's effect. The reason why that is really good is because we're able to destroy Fire Kings directly in our deck, and for those of you who don't know, probably should know by now, is that Fire King monsters all have different effects based on whether or not they are destroyed. So we are going to destroy a copy of Fire King Avatar Barong directly from our deck. And that is going to increase Sacred Fire King Garunix's attack by 900. But that's not all it's going to do, it's also going to trigger Fire King Avatar Barong, who has the effect that when he's destroyed, during the next standby phase, you can add one Fire King card from your deck to your hand except for Barong. That's no worries at all. What this combo basically does is that we're going to show you how you can go for your board wipe during your opponent's turn. What we're going to do now is we're going to pass turn, which may not seem like a lot, but we're going to show how we're going to get a bunch of advantage during the standby phase. You're going to pass it over to your opponent, they're going to draw for turn, then it's going to come into the standby phase, and we have a few triggers here. Firstly, we're going to activate Ponix. So since Ponix was destroyed and sent to the graveyard during the last turn, during this standby phase now we're able to add him directly back into our hand. Also during the standby phase, Barong is going to fully resolve, meaning that we are going to be able to add a Fire King monster from our deck to our hand. So we're going to add a copy of Fire King High Avatar Kirin, and we're going to add it directly to our hand. What's going to happen next is during the main phase, at any point really if you want, but you should probably get this done sooner rather than later if you want to be smart about it, just in case. You want to activate Fire King High Avatar Kirin's quick effect during the main phase, where if he's in your hand, you can destroy one other fire monster in your hand or face on the field, and if you do, you can special summon this card. So it's really great that Ponix has that resurging effect that is able to come back to our hand, because during our opponent's main phase we can activate Kirin, we're going to destroy Ponix, and we're going to special summon Fire King High Avatar Kirin directly onto the field. Now this next step is very important because this is how we get the opponent's board wipe, and that comes in using the effect of Fire King Sanctuary. Sanctuary has the effect that once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can immediately after this effect resolves, XZ summon one Fire XZ monster using only Fire King monsters you control. So as you guys already know, these two are both Fire King monsters. So if your opponent is comboing off and then we're kind of at a critical point where we don't have a whole lot of negations up, what we can do is when they special summon, we can trigger Sanctuary. use both of our Fire King monsters on the field, and we can XZ summon directly into Garunix Eternity. And when Garunix Eternity is XZ summoned, because this counts as an XZ summon, you can destroy all other monsters on the field, which completely wipes all of the monsters that your opponent has set up onto their field, basically making it a Raigeki that we can activate during our opponent's turn. That's a very good, very basic sort of Fire King combo. It's also great because when it's passing around back to us during the standby phase, Ponix was destroyed yet again by a card effect, so we are going to add him back to our hand during the standby phase. Garunix Eternity also has a great effect where he can destroy spell and trap cards, and also he has another effect where he's able to revive some monsters from the grave if he's destroyed, depending on the amount of Xyz material he has on destruction. So that's just a basic little Fire King combo. That's basically as easy as it gets in terms of Fire King. Now let's move on to the basic Snake-Eyes combo. Next up, we're going into the Snake-Eyes part of the deck. Again, this is just a basic combo that you're going to be using in order to go into your Snake-Eyes side of the deck. So all we're using is one copy of Snake-Eye Ash. Starting things off, we're going to normal summon Snake-Eye Ash, and then his effect is going to activate on normal summon, where we can add one level 1 fire monster from our deck to our hand. We're going to add a copy of Snake-Eyes Poplar, who is really good because when Poplar is added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can actually special summon it out onto the field. So that's going to allow us to special summon out Poplar. And then Poplar's effect on summon lets us add a Snake-Eyes spell/trap card from our deck and add it to our hands. We're going to add a copy of Divine Temple of the Snake-Eye. That's the field spell of this deck. We're then going to activate Divine Temple of the Snake-Eye. When this card is activated, you can place one Snake-Eye monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in its owner's spell and trap card zone. So what we're going to do is we are going to get Diabellstar Snake-Eye directly from our deck, and we are going to place it face up in the spell and trap card zone. This is very great because honestly, if you have some material in the graveyard, it's just a great extender as an extra body. But what we're going to do here next is we're going to activate Snake-Eye Ash's secondary effect, where we are going to send him and Poplar to the graveyard in order to special summon a Snake-Eye monster from our deck. Now, the monster that we are going to special summon is going to be Snake-Eye Oak, and then we're going to have a few triggers right here. So Snake-Eye Oak is going to hit the field now, and we're going to have two triggers right here. We're going to have Oak's trigger when he's brought out to the field, and we're also going to have Poplar's trigger when it is sent to the graveyard. So Oak is going to target one level 1 fire monster that's either banished or in the graveyard and special summon out, and Poplar is going to target one monster in the graveyard and place a face up in the spell and trap card zone. So with Oak, we're going to target Ash, and Poplar is going to target itself. So if we're going backwards in the chain, we're going to get Poplar to go face up in the spell and trap card zone, and Oak is going to special summon out the Snake-Eye Ash. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to activate Oak's effect, which is very similar to Snake-Eye Ash in that we're going to send itself and one other card that we control to the graveyard in order to special summon a Snake-Eye monster from the deck. So we're going to use Oak, send itself and Poplar to the graveyard in order to special summon a Snake-Eye monster from deck, and that is going to be Snake-Eyes Flamberge Dragon. Snake-Eyes Flamberge Dragon is a very good card because what it allows us to do is target monsters in our graveyard or even our opponent's graveyard and put it face up in spell and trap card zones. And then there's also a quick effect where we're able to special summon during your opponent's turn a monster that's in the spell and trap card zone onto the field. We're not going to use that effect just yet. What we're going to do is we're actually going to link these two guys away into a copy of IP Masquerena. I'll be honest, I don't think IP is going to be long for this world anymore. I do have strong feelings it might get hit on the next ban list, so let's try to utilize her while we can. What's going to happen here now is that since Flamberge left the field, what you're able to do is you're able to special summon 2 level 1 fire monsters from your graveyard since he left the field. So we're going to special summon out a Snake-Eye Ash and our Snake-Eye Oak. What we're going to do from here then is we're going to link climb. Let's use the Oak and the IP in order to go for a link 3, which will be our copy of Promethean Princess. Princess is fantastic because when she's in the graveyard, she serves as a disruption, which can come in very handy. But we're also going to use her effect now that we are going to special summon a fire monster from our graveyard onto the field. And we are going to special summon that Snake-Eyes Flamberge Dragon that is now in the graveyard. From here now, we might as well activate Snake-Eyes Flamberge Dragon's effect. We are going to target the IP Masquerade in the graveyard, and we are going to place it face up in the spell and trap card zone. Then from here, we're going to link line yet again. You're going to use Promethean Princess and Snake-Eye Ash in order to go into our Ambler Whale, which is a fantastic card to have on the field going into the next turn. From here, if we really wanted to, we can activate Snake-Eyes Diabellstar, whose effect means that we can target one fire monster in the graveyard and put it face up in the spell and trap card zone in order to special them out onto the field. We might as well do that. We'll put Poplar face up in spell and trap card zone and bring him out onto the field because he does have a very neat battle trick. Definitely don't put your Promethean Princess face up in your spell and trap card zone because we do need her in the graveyard. So there's a few things here which I find to be just very, very good. So with Flamberge, we can activate his effect that during your opponent's turn, we can quick effect target one monster that's treated as a continuous spell on the field and special summon it to your field. So that's great. So during your opponent's turn, we're going to activate Flamberge and we're going to get IP Masquerade that's face up in spell and trap card zone and special summon it out onto the field. That's fantastic because then during your opponent's turn, we can use IP's effect and we can get rid of these two and link them off into a very powerful link monster, for example, SP Little Knight. And since SP used a link monster in order to go into her, she's able to banish one card on the field or in the graveyard. So that's a very good note to make right there. And also when Flamberge is sent to the graveyard, it brings out two other level 1 fire monsters from the grave. But not only that, we also have Promethean Princess in the grave. For if a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field while this card is in the graveyard, except for the damage step, you can target one fire monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, destroy them, and if you do, you can special summon this card. That's a great way for us that when our opponent brings out a monster, we can activate Princess, target that monster and our Ambler Whale, destroy them both, and then bring out Princess. And honestly, Ambler Whale is definitely the best target for that because he also has a graveyard trick that, say, further into the game, your opponent manages to out your Promethean Princess, which will trigger Ambler Whale in the graveyard, that if a link 3 or lower monster on the field is destroyed with battle or card effect while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard and destroy one card in the field, which of course is just fantastic. And honestly, also Snake-Eyes Diabellstar is a very good card to have on the field because it also has a very cool battle trick that not many people know about because they don't really tend to read your cards. For when an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's monster, you can place this card from the field and that opponent's monster face up into their own spell and trap card zones as a continuous spell, so it's just a nice little bit of removal from there. So that's the basic sort of Snake Eyes stuff that you're able to do. Of course, we get a bunch of different interruptions just like that, which is of course fantastic in order to make our opponent slip up and be very careful about their moves. The Snake Eyes stuff, honestly, very, very good. If I were to say be careful about one thing, I would say be careful when you're starting to link climb and stuff like that because you need to use specific monsters in order to go into different things. So for example, the IP Masquerade needs 2 non-link monsters, so if you preemptively wanted to turn Poplar into something like Relinquished Anima, you need to be very, very careful in that sense. Also, when Promethean Princess is face up on the field, you can only special summon fire monsters. You're kind of locked into doing that. That's why you're better off using the IP stuff first and going into your SP before you bring out your Promethean Princess onto the field. There's just a lot of things to consider, so you need to be very, very careful. But other than that, I do think the Snake Eye stuff is fantastic, and I think it is a nice complement to the Fire King deck. Now we're going to show you how to kind of bridge the two decks together. This is a 1.5 card combo because you need 1 copy of Fire King Ulcanix and 1 fire monster in order to get this to pop off. It can be any fire monster you want, but I'm just going to use Ash Blossom as an example just because there's some kind of funny stuff that we can do. So let's just get into this. So Ulcanix is going to be the normal summon here. When Ulcanix is normal summoned, you're able to destroy one other fire monster in your hand or face up on the field, and if you do, you can add 1 fire beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster from your deck to your hand. So of course, the only fire monster that we have is Ash Blossom. So you're going to destroy her in order to add a fire beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster from your deck to your hand. But we are going to add a copy of legendary Fire King Ponix, who is a level 1 winged beast monster. What I really, really like about Ponix is that he has a similar effect as Garunix in the sense that if a monster that was originally fire is destroyed by battle or card effect, you're able to special summon this card out from your hand. And since Ash Blossom, of course, is originally fire and we add Ponix, we're able to trigger Ponix in order to special summon it out onto the field. That's great because it's not only on normal summon that Ponix gets its effect, it's also on special summon, so we can trigger Ponix and we are able to add a Fire King spell or trap from our deck to our hand. So we are going to add a copy of Fire King Sanctuary. We're going to activate the Fire King Sanctuary, and then we are going to get Fire King Island directly from the deck to be activated onto the field. Now what we're going to do from here is we are going to activate Fire King Island, and we're going to use the effect that during the main phase you can destroy one monster in your hand or on the field, and if you do, add one Fire King monster from your deck to your hand. We are going to destroy Ulcanix onto the field in order to add a copy of Garunix from our deck to our hand. That of course being Sacred Fire King Garunix. Now since we did that, there's going to be two triggers right here. So of course, Garunix in hand, since a fire monster was destroyed, he's able to special summon himself out. But also Ulcanix has the effect that if she is destroyed, you're able to special summon one copy of Fire King Garunix from your deck in defense position. So going backwards, what we're going to do is Ulcanix is going to special summon Fire King High Avatar Garunix onto the field in defense position. And also we are going to special summon Sacred Fire King Garunix onto the field. Now from here, since Sacred Fire King Garunix special summoned himself out, we're able to use his effect to destroy one Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast Fire monster from our hand, field, or deck. And of course, we are going to go with deck. So here is where the bridge actually comes in. So Sacred Fire King Garunix is going to destroy our copy of Fire King Avatar Kirin. So Fire King Avatar Kirin has the effect that if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can send one fire monster from the deck to the grave. This is essential in how we're going to get into our Snake-Eyes side of the deck, because when Fire King Avatar Kirin is sent to the graveyard, we're only sending one fire monster. It doesn't have to be a Fire King specifically, any fire monster will do, and we're going to go with Snake-Eye Ash. And this is where we get the bridge going between these two decks. Because it's from here that we are going to try to step away from the Fire King stuff now, and we're going to go straight into Snake-Eye stuff. We're going to be doing that by linking away these two into a copy of Salamangreat's Sunlight Wolf. And what we're essentially trying to do is we're trying to link climb into Promethean Princess in order for us to get that Snake-Eye Ash back out onto the field. So we're going to link away Legendary Fire King Ponix into a copy of the Link 1 Relinquished Anima, and since Anima was special summoned to a link zone that Sunlight Wolf is pointing to, we are able to target one fire monster in the graveyard and add it to our hand. Now if you didn't normal summon yet, you can actually add Snake-Eye Ash and normal summon to go for your Snake-Eyes plays, but since we started off using Ulcanix as a normal summon, we're pretty much free to choose whatever fire monster we want. But honestly, I'll just go with the Ash Blossom because that's a good negate just to get into our hand. Of course, it can be anything. Honestly, some might argue that maybe Ponix would be the better choice to go for, because since we linked him off of Anima, it's not going to get the revival effect. But I think since we used Ash as an example, Ash would be a very good one to bring back. Then from here, we can use these two. We can go into the link 3 of Promethean Princess. And then we're going to use Promethean Princess's effect in order to special summon a fire monster. And that fire monster, of course, is going to be Snake-Eye Ash. And then the Fire King stuff ensues from here. So Snake-Eye Ash's effect, when it is normal special summon, you can add one level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand. So we're going to add a copy of Snake-Eyes Poplar into our hand. And as you already know, since Poplar was added to our hand without drawing, we're able to special summon her out. And keep in mind, this is all completely legal under Promethean Princess, because when she's on the field, we're stuck into going for fire monsters. That's completely fine. All these guys are fire. Now, Snake-Eyes Poplar, we only have 2 targets in the deck for it. We have the field spell, and we also have the other Snake-Eye Subversion. Now, since Fire King Island has a very, very tricky effect that when it leaves the field and is sent to the graveyard, it destroys all of our monsters on the field, which is a mandatory effect, and we don't really want that. So we are probably just going to go with Sinful Spoils of Subversion Snake-Eye instead, because it's a nice little bit of removal for us going into our opponent's turn. So you can kind of see how we're already up on board and hand advantage right now. We got back our Ash Blossom, and we also have a removal spell going into our next turn if we want, or even in this turn, depending on what the game state is like. I Then from here, your Snake-Eyes stuff is going to be very similar, but we're kind of missing a few steps, so let's just go through it together. We're going to activate Snake-Eye Ash, and we're going to send it to the graveyard along with Poplar in order to special summon a Snake-Eye monster from our deck. And that, of course, is going to be Snake-Eye Oak. And then, as you already know, we're going to trigger both Oak and Snake-Eyes Poplar. So Oak is going to target Ash, and Poplar is going to target itself. We're going to put it face up in spell and trap card zone, and we are going to bring out Ash onto the field. Now this is very similar to what we were already doing before, because now we're going to use Snake-Eye Oak's effect. We are going to send it along with Poplar to the graveyard in order to special summon a Snake-Eye monster from our deck. So it is going to be Snake-Eyes Flamberge Dragon, very much like before. Alright, now from here what we're going to do is we're going to try to get Promethean Princess into the graveyard. So what's probably best is we're going to use the two of these guys in order to go into our copy of Ambler Whale. Now, not only is this good because it's setting up our Promethean Princess and Ambler Whale kind of combo where if our opponent special summons a monster, Promethean Princess can target Ambler Whale and that monster, special summon itself out and destroy both. But also, since Flamberge is sent to the graveyard, he's able to special summon 2 level 1 fire monsters from your graveyard. So of course you're going to bring out your copies of Oak and Poplar, or even if you want Ponix in there as well. It's completely up to you, but it doesn't really matter a whole lot. Because all what we're really doing from here then is we are going to link to using Ash and Oak to go into the copy of IP Masquerena. And then from here what we're able to do is basically just pass turn. And then here's a good few interruptions that we have right here, right now. So basically with this now, during your opponent's turn, what we can do is, you're probably best off going with the IP play as quickly as possible because Promethean Princess will come out onto the field soon, and then that's going to stop us from going into some of our dark monsters. So we're going to pass over to our opponent's turn. They're going to play a little bit, and then we're going to activate IP. We're going to use IP and Poplar. We're going to link them both off in order to go into SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight, since it used a monster from the extra deck, it is able to banish 1 card on the field or in the graveyard, so it's a good little interruption right there. Not to mention, we also have Ash Blossom in the hand as well, which is great. It's not necessary in order for the combo to go through, but it's also a nice little bit of security for us to know. But also, we know that we have Promethean Princess in the graveyard also, that if our opponent is comboing off and they manage to summon a monster out, we can activate Promethean Princess. We can target 2 monsters on the field, including one of our fire monsters. So we're going to destroy one of their monsters that they brought out, and we are going to destroy Ambler Whale in order to bring out Promethean Princess, which is just fantastic because not only is that getting Promethean Princess effect to pop off, but also we destroyed a fire monster on the field, which is fantastic because that triggers Sacred Fire King Garunix. While it's in the graveyard and a fire monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, you're able to special summon it out. And since he is special summoned out, what you're able to do is you're able to use his effect in order to destroy 1 fire monster, either in your hand or deck. And what we can do is we can destroy 1 copy of Fire King High Avatar Kirin, destroy it directly from deck, which again is fantastic because that lets Fire King High Avatar Kirin pop off, where it's able to special summon a Fire King monster from the graveyard and also destroy 1 card on the field. So what's really great about that is that you can special summon another level 8 being your Fire King High Avatar Garunix, so you can bring that out onto the field, which means they're getting full comboing off here in the sense that if your opponent special summons a monster again, Sanctuary is now live since we have 2 level 8 Fire King monsters facing on the field, that if they special summon, we are able to exes these 2 into our copy of Garunix Eternity and completely wipe the field, which is absolutely fantastic. We're able to get all those interruptions using just 1.5 cards. This should definitely shed light on why Fire King and Snake-Eyes work so well together. They just blend really great in the sense that you're able to set up your board and graveyard to have a bunch of interruptions onto your opponent. They both heavily rely on fire monsters, so there's definitely synergy there, especially with your Sacred Fire King Garunix. And also the fact that we have a nice little bridge with the Fire King Avatar Kirin is just absolutely fantastic. You can definitely see why this deck is a lot of fun to play. Now, that about does it for the combo video. This was more so just a nice little combo video where I didn't want to go into too much detail on what this deck can do, because of course, as you know, the sky is pretty much the limit. We might do some test hands in the future just so we can kind of see what we can do in certain situations. But for the time being, I think this was a nice introduction for people to see how these kind of two different archetypes bridge together and how they're able to mesh well into the one deck. If you guys are interested in building this deck, you should definitely check out the profile that we have on the channel. It's pretty much similar to the one that we just used right here, right now. And if you're planning on buying it, please be sure to use some of our affiliate links down in the description, because if you use the affiliate links associated with this channel, it helps myself and Sean out directly, which is something we would really appreciate to keep bringing you guys these videos. Another way you guys can help support us is by considering becoming a channel member. We want to give a big shout out to our channel members: Kirin Thompson, Ronnie Yell, Jojo TCGs, John Cran, Vex, Lizard, and Kingslayer111. We really appreciate your continued support, because they really help motivate myself and Sean to keep bringing you guys these videos. For the rest of you, you can just consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment. We also really appreciate it, because all the little things really help out in the long run. So that's about it. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.